Welcome to the FPL USA Press Play Podcast. We are at the finish line this FPL season. I am Bucks, joined by my podcast partner in crime, Brian Chen. How the hell are you, baby?
Bucks, we are new fathers here. Obviously, you've been a father for a few moments, but we both welcomed little babies into the world, so we appreciate some of our FPL USA mates, Paz and Dallas, for filling in last week on the podcast. Cheers to those lads. And we're trying to just catch up on some sleep and catch up on some overall rank, and that's been hard to do this past week, Bucks. In game week 37, it's been a bit of a tricky one. How you doing?
Hey, I'm hanging in there, man. Baby boy's doing great. He's loving life with his two big sisters. They're loving life, having each of them now their own sibling, and both getting to be called big sister, which I think is a big moment.
That's fun.
You know, my FPL season is just absolutely in the gutter. So, the finish line can't come soon enough on that front. But I've just chosen to lean into the vibes. I'm having a lot of fun with it. And this game can't get me down. I just love the Premier League so much. I love watching Chelsea so much. So I'm just glad that I'm podcasting with you, because I think I might be remiss in saying that you might be the best content creator with the highest rank right now. Is that true?
I am in a list of content creators on FPL Game Week. And yes, I've been doing some laps around those folks. Thankfully, just getting my luck and getting a lot of variance on my side, but still in the top 500 on a small red arrow for game week 37, just by about 1 point off my safety score, 46 points. You know, things could go better. I have 4 players remaining, though, so we're recording this podcast on Monday night. We still have 2 matches to go, City and Bournemouth, and then we have Crystal Palace and Wolverhampton. So I have Cunha, could be a decent differential, but right now I think I've just missed a few of my differential captains the last few weeks, and then honestly just picks. I went for Palmer captain this week. That just blew absolute chunks. It was bad. It was not good. But
Chelsea won. That's the most important thing. FPL be damned. As long as Chelsea make the Champions League.
Cucurella, man, he's crushing it on the goal tally this calendar year. Holy cripes, we'd be lost without that guy.
Yeah, he was looking like a vintage Drogba when he was rising up for the ball there. I loved every second of that.
Impressive. Yeah, so now my goal is to just remain in the top 500 before the end of the season. But, you know, there's lots of punts on the last day of the year, and all the teams playing at once. There'll be some leaks, some news. We're waiting on some key news on assets like Saliba and Isak and all the rest. So what are you feeling? You feeling like a cheeky captaincy differential pick for game week 38, Bucks?
Yeah, I think I'm now 2 game weeks with taking at least 1 hit. Again, I'm just trying to make my team fun for me. I still also have 4 players to go. I'm on 48 points, even factoring in that hit. So I'm on a little bit of a green arrow, which I like. The lowest point scorer in my squad right now is Palmer, who unfortunately is my captain. Hate to see that. But like I said, Chelsea got the 3 points, and that's almost more important than the combined 4 points I get from double 2 from Cole. Now, listen, I am one of the only 2% of managers that have the optimal Villa triple up. So I had those huge 15 points from Konza,
yes,
Rogers.
Konza. Love you, Longsa. Oh my goodness. 15 pointer on a Friday to start the weekend. Love that.
Yeah, Esri also donated some money to my newborn's college fund by helping Villa get that W. And then, I also have Watkins. I brought him in for Isak. That was kind of fortunate. Fortune favors the bold with that silly hit that I took, because Isak...
Where's Eddie Howe in his presser? Like, can you mention something at all?
What a fraud that guy is. I mean, he's having his best season as a manager by far, but his press conferences are still in the relegation zone for sure.
Yeah, not to mention all those owners who went with double Arsenal defense or started one of their Arsenal defenders. I was like, I don't know if I rate this. Like, Newcastle has played them pretty tightly. They beat them in the FA Cup, and then to not have Isak in the side and just the corpse of Callum Wilson, who has scored 0 goals this year. 0. For Newcastle.
That's crazy.
So yeah, that's unfortunate, even off the bench. But yeah, there's some jam that happened all across the weekend, like there always is.
Yeah, and it just feels more it feels bigger because we only have, 12
yeah,
matches left to go this season.
very
So,
true.
again, we're both on mediocre scores, it sounds like, in game week 37, 2 matches to go. I think each of us have 4 players. Listen, if KDB gets benched, I won't be crying uncle, because I got Alonga with 5 points, and then I also have Kiwi 7 points, 1 and 2 on
Ooh,
my bench. So
where's the bench
if
boost when you need it?
yeah, if Munoz and KDB want to just start their vacations early, that will be, you won't hear me saying 2-0s about that. I would be pretty happy about that. I'll take points any way I can get them at this rate.
I mean, Munoz could be drunk. He could still be partying, because all of the Crystal Palace lads are celebrating their first cup in over 100 years. So very impressive for Crystal Palace to pull off the upset. Mr. Henderson, with his cap on, puts great performances, saves a penalty kick versus Marmouche, and there's a couple other big moments. He played out of his skin, and really, really, like the epitome of the FA Cup is having some of these other teams across England pull off the upsets against the big dogs. So you love to see it.
Yeah, that was heritage. Congratulations to Crystal Palace. Congratulations to the fans. Long time coming. And I think Ollie Glasner has really put himself into the conversation for among the best in the Premier League. He's really done a bang-up job in South London for the Eagles. And you know what? Dean Henderson was not only my man of the match watching the game, but he also had the shithouse moment of the match post-game where, Pep Guardiola, he's trying to go over and congratulate him. Pep kind of wags his finger at him, and Dean Henderson gives him the business, which I fucking loved. That was awesome to see. So, you know what, Pep? No trophies this season. You got to take your medicine a little bit. And so you can't be going after former Manchester United players and thinking they're not going to be clapping back to you with the silverware. Come on now.
Not to mention, there's a chance that they miss Champions League if they don't take care of business over these last couple matches. But I still probably would favor City to make one of those 5 spots.
A very small chance, let's say. But yeah, it's going to be a really
they could help
fun...
out Chelsea and have a loss tomorrow to Bournemouth. That would be exciting. Oh my God. Day.
Don't get me too excited here. I cannot have baby number 4. Now, I will just say that we are in line for the most amazing next 10 days of football, because I think on May 21st, on Wednesday, there's the Europa League final between Manchester United and Tottenham Hotspurs. That will be a very important match to define the success of both their team seasons, because without that victory, I think probably Postecoglou is getting fired, and I don't know where the investment dollars are coming from either of those teams should they fail to qualify for Champions League. It's just been an absolute shitstorm of a season for both those fan bases. And then we have game week 38.
United are really looking to make some early transfer moves as soon as that window opens. Cunha is rumored. I think Mbomo just got his price.
Yeah, they said Mbomo also.
Yeah,
I saw that.
Those are some big players that you would really rate coming into a team alongside.
How are they going to finance it? If they don't have any European,
win.
Yeah,
yep, they got to win. That'll be interesting.
They should be relegated if not for the relegation team, since this new dreamy head coach came in.
Yeah, now, I guess just the rest of Europe just sucks at football this year. Is that what it is? Like to see both Spurs and United into the final, or is it just?
I think it's just it's a really important
in cups.
Yeah, it's just a really important reminder of how competitive and how much better the Premier League is than really any other league. It's just so dynamic.
Preach.
So complete. Preach. I mean, you look, there's the, La Liga is said to be one of the top leagues. It's really only a 4-team league on the best of seasons. Serie A, maybe 4 teams.
2
maybe
teams
5
that matter there.
Yeah. So, I mean, you just look at it, top to bottom of the Premier League, you can get gotten any game week. I mean, even West Ham have been plucky of late. So you just never know. There's no weekends off in the Premier League, and it just. I
will happily admit as well that I'm a homer. I love the Premier League, so I will put them pound for pound up against any of these other crapshoot leagues. But
and I watched Inter Miami with one of my buddies, and I had to go take a walk at the 30-minute minute mark. It was so brutal. It was like you watch Sunday league matches in the UK that are higher caliber than that match was. So let's transition, though. I think, we're both in the upper to mid 40s in game week 37. It's meh, but it's still all to play for, especially for you, Brian. I mean, you're like one of those teams ranked 3 to 7 in the Premier League. You're still daring to dream about, what could be at the end of this season. So let's talk about it. What's your current rank? And then, 37, got 4 guys to go. Where do you think you're going to land? And what does that mean for 38 for you? Are you going to be swinging wild and loose, or are you going to be just trying to protect rank?
Yeah, right now I'm on 46 points. I have a very, funnily enough, red arrow of 10 places right now. So very much like 1 point off my safety score. Yeah. No, I want it to be a green arrow. I want to end the season on a green arrow. So that's my goal. Look, if I get a few points from Cunha, if he could come in with like an 8 or 9 pointer, that would be huge for my team. But then I have Munoz and Mateta subbing in for Isak. So I'm not really thinking that those guys are going to deliver many points after celebrating nonstop. So they'll probably come in with 1 or 2 points max. And then I have Gavardiol like everybody else. And then I'm going to be hurt by KDB and Marmouche. So it's not looking that great. If I can eke out a gray arrow, gray dot, and then set myself up for a green arrow in the last game week. So, I just want to stay in the top 500. That's now the goal. I went too close to the sun. I went a little loose the last couple of game weeks, just looking at the numbers and trying to pick differential captains like KDB last week and going against the field of Mbomo, and then same thing with Palmer this week. So, top 500 would be absolutely sick if I'm just outside of that. Top 1K is a lock, and that's pretty damn satisfying. So we'll see what we do. Probably have to go differential cap again, though, and we're going to talk about that later through our FPL community questions.
Love it. All right, let's leave it there. I mean, I think, it's all about game week 38 at this point in the season.
Yes, sir.
The Europa League final is important. The UECL final is important for some, maybe mostly me and, my gang of Chelsea supporters.
I don't know if I recognize that.
Just me.
That silver plate that they're going to get.
That's right. So let's transition. Let's flip ahead to game week 38. So what managers need to know going into the final match week of the season is that it's a flat earth scenario. All the teams start at the same time. The matches are all on Sunday. There will be lineup leaks for sure. And probably there's going to be a shit ton of goals. On average, game week 38 has significantly more goals than any other week of the season across the board. So you could be watching a brutal match like the third team for Arsenal at Southampton. Listen, we're probably going to see 5 goals in that match. It's just how it goes at this point in the FPL season and in this point in the Premier League. So with that, let's go to our first segment, the best matches to target for FPL hauls. And I think when you look at it, it's actually gotten quite difficult based on some of the press conferences because we're hearing that Liverpool might be resting. Arsenal might be on the beach now. They're actually literally on the beach. I think they were given trips. No training this week. Love to hear that if you have a double Arsenal defense and Saka still in place. It could be extremely brutal, but it's definitely going to be a lot of fun. So what's your first match that you're looking at and it's like, ooh, yum, yum. There's FPL points there.
I would say, the Arsenal versus Southampton match to end the season. Maybe Arteta can end on a high note, but now that there's these rumors of potential rotation, that's brutal.
Fuck all to play for. There's no trophy for second place.
They're
Sorry, Mikel Arteta.
Once again, so that's unfortunate because I have Kiwi, I have Raya. I was looking at Saka cap, but now I'm thinking, man, I don't know if these guys are going to play past 45 minutes, and so that is disheartening to say the least. And I think we're gonna see some of those brutal kind of early subs. 55 minutes. We're going to see a lot of those subs this week for other teams to get some of their squad players out and just get them in front of the crowd for the last time. So it really helps me kind of lean towards any team that is still fighting for Champions League is really what I'm thinking about, and how those players will perform in their expected minutes. So, when you're looking at, originally I was thinking I'd go from Palmer to Saka. Now I'm kind of reevaluating that a bit. I'm not 100% sure. I want to see some of a team sheet. So it's definitely tricky. And most managers only have 1 or 2 free transfers max. So it's going to be very much a wake up, fire up the laptop, open up 5 tabs, get a lot of these leaks refreshed, have a different
Only
scenarios
5?
played out. But yeah, I mean, I think that's going to be tough for the Arsenal squad to, get that clean sheet. So, I mean, I could go against Arsenal and just fade both Raya and Kiwi and start my Kansa Martinez, who have come in huge for me. 3 clean sheets, I think, in the last 4 matches. I've been very fortunate to have Kansa and Emi Martinez, and he might leave the Premier League after this match. This might be his last one. There's some rumors that he's going to exit and go to Saudi or something. So
there's rumors in Manchester United too.
What? Wow, that would be something else. So what are your thoughts? Is that the best game, or do you see another fixture on the ticker that is better for FPL points?
Yeah, so you took the words out of my mouth. I think Aston Villa at Manchester United, despite being away, is probably the jump off the page fixture to target for FPL returns. Manchester United have nothing
even after United really played Chelsea tough when they didn't need to.
Well, I think I'll tell you why that is, because they were.
You think it was them stretching their legs, getting
they were
ready,
problem solving for the final, and I think once the final happens, if they win, they'll be on the piss all week celebrating, and if they lose, I mean, it will just be like a dark cloud, which is normally the state of affairs in Manchester, will be over that entire building and over the team. And I think the fact that it's home actually might hurt United, especially if they lose, because
I'm rooting for them to lose so I can start my 3 Villa assets with more confidence and then fade Arsenal.
We'll see. A Chelsea fan, I cannot bear to see Spurs win anything. They're so undeserving. So I think that's the obvious one. I think Aston Villa will come in extremely motivated. They do not hold their destiny in their own hands, so they just need to go out and just put United to the sword. And so I think they're going to be very motivated. United will not be, despite it being an away match for Villa. They have to be heavy favorites. I would like to have a triple up. Thankfully, I already do. And I think you start those guys with confidence. And potentially Watkins could be captaincy as a differential. There's one more match that I think really looks great on paper. That's Leicester at Bournemouth. Now, I know Bournemouth assets have been sold off in droves going into the final stretch of the season. They've had a couple really tough matches now, but they are going to look to put on a performance in front of their home crowd. This is the 2nd season in a row where they are setting an all-time club record for Premier League finish and Premier League points. And so why not run out and score a shit ton of goals against lowly Leicester, who have absolutely nothing to play for? They got their Super Bowl in Jamie Vardy scoring his 200th goal in the final home match for them. 500 appearances for the team. He's an absolute legend. He deserves a statue outside of the King Power Stadium, going from the Beer League all the way towards Man of the Season when they won it all against the largest of odds. So those are the 2 matches.
£1 million transfer coming in to Leicester, joke. Over a dozen years served. Red Bulls kicking down corner flags, scoring goals, being a shithouse master, blowing his final whistle and sunsetting his career in Leicester, one of the best foxes ever. So that was definitely cool to see. And I saw a few people around the timeline on X
brought him in,
going with the Vardy captaincy. Yeah, very very fun there. And you'd be laughing because that was a great pick compared to the rest of the field. For captaincy.
12-pointer, I think. That's 24 points at this point in the season as a differential is nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah, I think it was only 8, but yeah.
All right. What's math here? This is vibes.
Triple
vibes
captain. You were shouting out the Vardy triple captain, weren't you? That's
what Eamon is going to be looking for. Some of the people who have held chips are dreaming to land a differential like that in 38. Now, switching to the kind of popcorn-worthy matches, I really think there's only 2. Manchester City at Fulham. Now, on paper, this looks like a pretty easy match for Manchester City, But historically, Fulham has actually been one of those bugaboo teams for Pep Guardiola. And there's absolutely no way that Marco Silva is going to let Manchester City come into the Craven Cottage and just have a field day against his Fulham Whites. So I think that this is a really tight contest. So I know I have KDB, I have Guardiola. Probably a lot of managers have those guys in place. I'm a little nervy if I'm a Manchester City fan. It's good that they have this late match after a disappointing FA Cup to try and get the points in the bank early, because I actually think Fulham are going to play them really tough. And I could see this being a draw. And, depending on what happens around them, that could be enough to keep them out of the Champions League places. So that's a match for sure in focus for me. Last one, closest to my heart. I'm going to be, living and dying on each and every kick in this match. That's Chelsea at Nottingham Forest. That's basically a final for a Champions League spot. That's the way I'm looking at it. I think probably that's how Forest fans are looking at it. Both teams need the 3 points. Both teams probably, I think Chelsea will be a lot happier if they get the draw. They'll probably just squeak in. But again, Chelsea have the destiny in their hands. Forest are chasing. So I think this is going to be a really interesting contest. Do Forest stretch to really get out of their shape and play a more aggressive style? Do Chelsea kind of pass through them, kind of anticipating that? So I think this is a really cool match, both with lots of eggs in the basket for both teams, but also this is kind of like a style makes fight kind of match here. Because, Maresca Ball versus Nuno Esperanto, it's just a really compelling match on the last day of the season. Love to see that there's a lot still to play for.
Yeah, absolutely. So that one's going to be
I actually think
squeaky bum time. You're going to keep Cole. Wow. Okay.
Oh,
no
for
move
sure.
to Saka.
Nah, fuck Saka. He sucks.
Six goals in 20 starts. Not that impressive, but he's been definitely hampered by injuries this season.
Yeah, but you know what? There's also no trophies for second place. And so I just think that, at this point in the season, you're trusting your best guys in the biggest matches to go out and do something special. And I think we'd be talking a much different tune if Cole Palmer would have gotten 1 or 2 assists, which he really should have in that Manchester United match. Noni Madueke just puts the ball on net. Butterfingers Onana was going to let those in. So that was hard to stomach, as we both had him as captain.
So painful. I think he deserved to equal the amount of points that Ollie Watkins had as captaincy. So that was really tough to see, unfortunately.
One last one, Liverpool. You think they try and put on a strong lineup, a big show at Anfield against, Palace, who are definitely going to be celebrating really hard this week? You think maybe Mo Salah could be a captaincy shout?
I don't know about that. I think that they just look like they're so, it's got to be such a weird mentality to go into these matches knowing that you've won everything this season.
It's over. And don't get hurt. Yeah, it's so weird.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like they got the Club World Cup coming around, and there's my my little daughter having a little scream in the background. But
she's made her first podcast appearance. Congrats.
Yeah, podcast appearance. Yeah.
But I should tell you that Liverpool not in the Club World Cup, just Chelsea and Manchester City from the Premier League, which is a little interesting.
Oh, did not know that. I just would have assumed a big club like them was going to be in that.
Yeah, because it's really their only first trophy in a couple years' time. So this is more of a legacy tournament this season. Now, with that being said, we do want to just address some of those big questions going into 38, because again, with such a small sample size and so much still to play for a lot of managers in their mini leagues, just looking to kind of finish the season on a green arrow and considering the goals, I think the only words of wisdom I can offer, because I'm having a dreadful season, is just prioritize getting in fun attacking options. So no defender transfers. We've been saying that for weeks now. But listen, you're not having a great season like me. Spice it up. Take a hit. Get in some attackers. Maybe even give one of those guys the armband. Let's make it fun, because again, the name of this game is just to deepen our enjoyment of the Premier League. That's what it's all about. Brian, you got any perspective, any advice as, probably the best manager season that we're ever going to have on this podcast. So tell us what's going on. What's in your mind?
It's been bittersweet kind of thinking about that a little bit, just knowing that up to 285 in the world was my highest overall rank this season. And I could play the next 50 years of FPL and not touch that kind of a high. So
I might hold you to that. We got a plaque between us. I would be very happy.
I know.
Edition 2, Edition 3, Edition 10. After it goes back and forth.
Yeah, and that's one of our most fun little side bets we have with 4 of us in a group chat. We have this plaque that the loser of the 4 of us has to send to the winner, and then it gets engraved. And so Bucks, unfortunately, looks like the worst overall ranked manager. So he will be paying for the shipping, paying for the engraving. I have this nice spot in my office just ready for it. And then I'm going to have that for the next year. So looking forward to that engraving of a triple-digit finish on there. Very, very slick.
Yeah, just give me a little bit of kudos, for past performance. I am the only 2-time winner so far of that plaque. So,
okay.
It's not all bad news.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, I was the one who was paying for it last season. So it's tough when those bad seasons hit, but there's always next season. So I think let's just transition here to our FPL community questions for game week 38, and we'll breeze through some of these. So we're just talking about defender picks, but at FPL_Hunt, aka Connor, wants to know who is the best 1 week defender pick. So I think he has Saliba, and he's really thinking about making a defensive transfer. And that's tough because anybody who has Saliba or maybe even Isak, we're still unsure what's going on with him. But would you go with Ben White, or is there another defender out there that really you think can hit double digits this game week?
I think when I look at the fixtures, I think Kirkez looks great. If you don't have a Villa defender, maybe Matson or Kanza, based on the leaked lineups that we get. And then, listen, I was really impressed with Connor Bradley today. I know Liverpool ended up losing the game 3-2, against Brighton. Why not go with a lowly owned option like that? He's on the same side as Salah. I mean, I just think you got to target.
I think there's going to be five goals in that match.
They're very much.
I would be leaning towards a more unbalanced fixture, or for a team that has something to play for. Ben White can obviously fill in for center back if the legs of Saliba is out, so don't mind it. He hasn't played much football this year, though, so I don't think you're going to find those attacking returns. Kirkez is definitely that seems like a fun pick. Although Huijsen, who is off to Real Madrid, crazy kind of last couple of years for that guy, but the kid has 3 or 4 goals this season, lots of headers, tall lad. You might even try and spike that 15-pointer versus getting the Kirkez 12. But I think, those Bournemouth guys are pretty good shouts. Matson, not bad. He'd have to be on the league lineup, though, from
you need to know he's starting route. For sure.
Yeah, I think those are mainly the picks. I mean, Newcastle, I guess they have to win at home versus Everton. Everton are pretty shite. Like that, there could be, Livermento or one of those picks. Maybe Shar. Shar is a donger. I would go with him.
Yeah, I like Shar. Shar's a great shout.
Yeah, and especially because I heard maybe Tarkowski is going to be out of that match too. So he's done for the season. Back.
Yeah, he's toast.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, he's toast. I missed what injury he got, but so that's another shout for defenders. But I would, like you, focus your transfers on attack. Just get your bench guy in and enjoy the 2-pointer, because there's going to be so many matches with.
You know how many clean sheets there's going to be in game week 38? A whopping 2. Donut 0. Maybe there's going to be 1. I would be shocked if there's more than 1 clean sheet this game week. So I think
as long as it's Chelsea 1, NFO 0, that's a clean sheet we need.
Stop it! You're making me. It's injected straight into my veins. I would take that result. Let's keep this PG-13. I don't want to start taking my clothes off here.
Next question is from Matt, aka at my Cayman fan. Simple one for us. If you own Isak and Saliba, do you transfer them out, and to who? So let's update the listeners on Isak. He has
Hammy.
a ongoing groin injury, actually, that he's been managing for at least 10 kind of game weeks here. And
Wait,
that's
is
why
that
you've
true?
seen some of
Because
his.
Howe said it was a hammy. He said he tweaked his hammy in the day before training.
Come on.
Fucking
How
liar.
doesn't
Hate
know
that
what
guy.
the hell he's saying? I think it's
Golly.
it because there's been some rumors that he's going to have a surgery after the season, and I think that's for the groin. Now, obviously, if your groin is hurting you and then you tweak your hammy, it's all kind of the same, muscles down there. So it could be one of those, similar injuries. But regardless, they need to get these 3 points. So maybe they were just going to punt on the away Arsenal fixture and just say, we're not going to take any risks. He traveled
they
with the
went
team.
for it, dude. That was Raya was the best goalkeeper in the world for those 90 minutes. He was incredible.
Yeah.
So
I mean, he also had a couple of giveaways that caused him to make some of those double saves. But yes, he had a great 5 saves in the first 30 minutes there. But so I think, I was listening to FPL Harry and a few other people just talking about it. Like that's an important leak, because if he's going to play, pretty good differential to have in your team, even if he's 80% versus a beached Everton team where you're playing Newcastle, who need the full 3 points. So I would likely just hold on Isak. If you're not, I think Evan Nilsson is a great transfer in. They're playing the Foxes, nothing to play for. That's probably the likely best forward this game week. Otherwise, I think Wissa, the Wolves and Brentford match, could be a really fun one. If you don't have Wissa either, I think those are probably my 1 and number 2 strikers for this game week.
agreed. Yeah, I was gonna say Watkins and Evan Nielsen, and then Wissa. That's
Watkins.
kinda,
Yeah, good point. Yeah, I think most people are already either tripled up on Villa from this past week or don't have a route to him. So if that's the case, then I think Wissa and Evan Nilsson are right there. And then Saliba, just use your bench fodder.
bench that guy. Who cares?
Benjamin. Just
and then you
take
could
on
say
the,
that you
take
had
on the EO of
Saliba.
Arsenal defense.
Yeah, you could say you had Saliba for all 38 game weeks and pat yourself on the back for that. Just, understand that he's not getting any points and not getting any minutes here. So,
all right,
what's the worst that could happen?
This is a better question for you from @OG Boo Shindu. Wants to know, with Isak, who's the best spicy differential? They're looking for something spicy. So You're going to have to go off the beaten path here, Bucks.
I'm bringing up the fantasy page. I like Gakpo. I'm going to shout him out again. He's been on a little bit of a cold streak. This could be a get right match against. You know what? Actually, the Palace players don't really drink. They're all goody two shoes choir boys. So maybe that's not as spicy as we're looking for. Why not Strand Larson? You know what? Cunha's getting all the love.
Strand.
This could be a Strand kind of game. He strings together the strands of glory in game week 38 for your team.
I see that match having 4 to 5 goals in it pretty easily.
At
Brentford
least.
are pretty open. They blew that match. I mean, obviously, after Crystal Palace won, they knew that they weren't going to be able to get the 8th European
Nothing to play for.
Nothing to play for. But they were up 2-1 and let 2 late goals go to Fulham. So that was a 5-goal thriller. We could see that repeat easily versus Wolves as well.
And you know what? If we do get the leaked lineup and it turns out Isak is for sure ruled out, I honestly don't hate Callum Wilson. He needs a goal this season. I mean, the guy he can't fade into the abyss in such a way where he gets a 0-goal season.
I would assume.
Yeah, and he was trolling Mikel Antonio, who we hope he gets better soon, a couple seasons ago for his horrible performance. And then this guy's just going to wear an L of a 0-goal season. So, I mean, Again, just targeting the teams that have motivation versus teams without it, I think is a good kind of keep it simple, stupid strategy. And when you look at the midfielders, I think we're actually spoiled for affordable differential choices there because, like Jacob Murphy, Gordon, we got Clivert. I think those guys are all of a sudden back on the menu in a big way.
Semenyo.
I don't hate it.
Yep. All right, last 2 questions here are about captaincy, and then we can transition into our transfer plans and captaincy shouts section to end the pod. But Abdullah, a.k.a. @Bangla_FPL, says, I still have my triple captain left. Who do I use it on?
Oh, my goodness.
Saka if he starts, Mo versus Drunk Palace, or do I go rogue with somebody like Bowen, Evan Nilsson, Clivert, and then at FPL Paz wants to know best captain outside of Salah. So, wow, lots of options. Kudos to you if you kept your triple captain all the way to game week 38.
What discipline.
That's just extra incentive. The only thing that's not fun, though, about the game week 38 triple cap is like you're looking at all these different options, 4 or 5 different options. There's no clear-cut answer, and you'll be in real time watching your second and third choice for triple cap, scoring goals potentially at the same time while you're watching your triple captain. So it gets a little bit chaotic there. And Bucks, what's your setup going to be with the screens? Are we talking big screen, double laptop, iPad? You got all the kids running around. What's your setup going to be like, mate?
I'm calling in the reinforcements in the form of the grandparents so I could really lock in. And yeah, listen, we are not financial advisors here, but if there was ever a time to place your first goal scorers parlay, game week 38 is sure the time to do it. Just to answer the question, I like Watkins. I think,
nice.
There's nothing to play for United. I think they're going to trot out some of the academy guys at home just to give the fans something to cheer about. And Villa absolutely need this game in the worst way. So I think they try and really embarrass the Red Devils. So I like that one outside of Salah. I don't hate Jared Bowen. He's on a ridiculous run of good form against Ipswich.
Did you see his goal? Oh,
unbelievable.
It was just filthy. Like the technique and the awareness there. And I'm not going to lie, I was looking at a massive red arrow because I have gone this whole season without a single Forest defender, and they were on kind of a double clean sheet. A lot of managers had multiple defenders from NFO, and Bowen, my guy, comes to the rescue. I own Bowen. He comes in with that 8 or 9 pointer once again. So he's definitely a man in form. So shout out to my good buddy down here in the Central Coast of California. Andrew Stein went with the captain on Bowen this week, so that was pretty good.
That would be a good one to bank the triple captain on. So I think those are 2 quality options.
Yeah, Ipswich,
and then of course
Ipswich is going to give up some goals there, even to West Ham.
But you know what? I also think that if Isak starts and we find out that he is fit in the league lineups, you could do worse than triple captaining a guy who's probably going to be among the most favored to get a goal if he gets 60 minutes. So I don't hate that either.
Yeah, I just don't love that he could captain him and he could come off at 65.
Yeah, he could come off at 30 minutes if he tweaks something.
Ugh, yeah, not that's too bold. But I'm hoping he's in my team right now, and I'm hoping that I won't have to, because I have Mateta and him, and I need to start one of them. Otherwise, I got to take a hit, and I do not want to take a -4 because that sets me back maybe 200
attackers
places.
This is the game week for the attackers to repay the hit. So I think if we find out
in a 1 week scenario where you don't have more game weeks for them to make up those points, it's just such a small sample size. Like, I don't love hits this week unless it's for captaincy specifically. Don't take a hit.
Yeah, but I think that if we
out a defender or an attacking player.
Totally fair. But I think we are going to know before the deadline who's starting and who's not. So if it turns out that, Isak and Mateta are not, if Mateta's benched and Isak is not even in the squad, I think taking a hit is a very pragmatic hedge. And, you just hope that one of those guys you bring in really does the business on your behalf. So
I was
perfect way to transition, Brian. We're almost like pros at this point. Yeah. All right, let's go. Final segment. Captaincy plans and transfer plans and captaincy shouts.
There we go. All right, we love this section. Just for a few minutes here to get out. I originally was planning to go for Palmer to Saka, but now I'm wavering on that a bit, and so I have no idea what I will do with my transfer.
Gross.
I just have one, so I think if I end up keeping Cole Palmer and fading Saka, then I will probably move for Evan Nilsson in for the likes of Mateta. And that's probably what I'll do there. He's not on pens, but a good fixture, and he's been playing pretty well. He's going to be pretty highly owned. He's cheap. So I think that's the route I'll go. And then captaincy, man, I have no idea what I'm going to do. I'm very eager to go differential. And it could be on Cole, could be on Cunha. I don't know. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. So we'll have to report back here before the deadline, and I'll post on social. What about you, Bucks? What's the plan? You
I'm going to keep it super simple. I'm going to captain Ollie Watkins again. a lot of motivation for him to put on a performance. Yeah, he might be out of Villa. He might be looking to get a big contract renewal, getting them back into Champions League 2 seasons in a row. So I think he has a lot personally to play for, and of course Villa have a lot on the line in that match against nothing going on Manchester United. So I like that. Now, if I was going to pick someone from a home match, really my only option at this point, since I sold Salah, I faded him, would be to captain Cunha. So I like that option, but I also have Vissa, and he's just been on an absolute heater. So I think one of my 3 forwards is going to carry the armband. I'm leaning right now. My bus team has Watkins holding it. And yeah, I think my transfer is going to be a little bit surprising. I have Alanga and Rogers and Cole, and listen, my season is done. Who cares? I have KDB. I'm going to go KDB, I think, to either Kluivert, Bowen, or Gordon. Right now, if you made me make a decision, I'd go Kluivert because he gets the penalties and because he gets the home match. So I really like that. And listen, he's also a new dad. So, I got to keep that new dad energy going.
There you go.
I know I'm a veteran at this point. So don't come to me for FPL advice. But if you are a parent as of recently, my DMs are open. I'm happy to give some of those late night bottle feeds, or, when you're up supporting your better half as she's feeding your new child. Be in touch. I'm happy to give you any tricks that I've learned along the way with kid number 3 now. Sheesh.
Yeah, man, you just moved from the man-to-man to zone defense.
We got our starting 5, which I'm really excited about.
Squad ride. All right,
now
Bucks,
listen,
tell the listeners.
Chelsea needs to do the business. I think for me, that's the most important. I will not be having a 4th child, but the vibes will just be absolutely immaculate in my household if they can make Champions League and just do it right in Nottingham Forest's face. I would love that so much.
Attaboy. All right, let's get out of here. Bucks, tell the listeners where to find you and where to find us.
Yeah, I'm Bucks. You can find me on social at FPL USA Bucks. Having my worst ever season, but I'm going to come back stronger from it going into next season. Let's pass it to you, Brian, and let's also make sure to shout out Black Wolf, who we want to just send full messages of getting well. He's kind of the rock of the hashtag FPL USA community. So he's just a little bit in the background right now as he focuses on his mentals and his health. So, of course, Dan, we want to send you love. He's at FPL_ Black Wolf. Chin, get us out of here. Where are you? What's this podcast? What's the dream for 38?
Yep, you can find me at FPL USA Brian. And if you don't mind, we just started posting more videos on YouTube. That is something that we're going to be doing more of next year as well. So give us a like and subscribe. We really appreciate that as we continue to build our humble podcast into a more of a video medium as well. And man, ahead of the World Cup, USA FPL is going to be bumping, so we're looking forward to gaining some new listeners and followers. We appreciate you engaging with us at FPL USA Press Play on all socials. Holla at us.
Yeah, one last thing. Shout out to the at Hail Cheaters, the Always Cheating podcast. Brian, you've been a longtime Patreon supporter. They just announced they're going to be hanging it up after 10 years.
After a decade.
Yeah, they were really the inspiration behind us starting this podcast. We're not so analytics. We're not so much of a numbers pod. We just watch the games and we do this for the love of the sport. And I think that's what their podcast and that's what their whole energy was all about. So we're really hoping that, together with the hashtag FPL USA community, that we can maybe take on a little bit of that mantle. They were such good stewards of the game as we came up into the spotlight of running our own podcast. And so we've had them both on as guests. So, we really want to just appreciate and shout out all their hard work and their efforts because the content creation game is a grind. And, they really set the mark for the United States version of the FPL content business. So shout out to you, Josh and Brandon, on, kudos for a really amazing stretch run that you guys had.
Yeah, that's right. We're going to miss those guys coming at us a couple times weekly. But, if you're looking for additional FPL content, hopefully you'll check our podcast out. Good luck in game week 38. We will have one more podcast to end the season, just recapping a few of the learnings, especially with some of the new rule changes, the chips that were new to this year. And then head off into the summer transfer window, and then we'll be taking a nice little break as we raise our little one. So we'll be back soon, and best of luck this game week.
Yeah, green hours to all. Let's go.
Let's go. Top $500. Let's fucking get it. Woo!
Yeah, top 500.